This pool is approximately 25 years old. As you can see, most of the gel coats have peeled off of it or checked. Also, a lot of the resin from the first layers of fiberglass are also gone, which exposes bare fiberglass. And we're going to see what we can do to bring it back up to look close to new. Here you can see that we have a large 6-foot crack that's broke all the way through the fiberglass laminations. They had used epoxy putties over the years to fill in the crack to keep it from leaking, and it seemed to have worked. What we're going to do is we're going to open the crack. Here you can see we've cut it out to where it's open to bare ground underneath. We installed a 1x4 underneath, which will serve as a base to put our new fiberglass onto. We ground the edges down to try to blend it in. Makes it easier for installing our new fiberglass. Here you can see we have resin, 1.5 ounce fiberglass mat, roller and brush, and we're going to put our first initial layers in just to hold it all together again. After this cures, we'll go in and start doing additional layers to it. Here we're sanding. Take the high spots off, any little wickers that are sticking up, and to rough it up a little bit for the new layers of mat and resins that's going to be added to it. Now that the base coat of fiberglass has hardened, we go back and we start to fill the low areas in. Here we use fiberglass strips, put it in the low areas, and build it up. Take a wet out roller and wet out the mats, and this will be done layer after layer until we get it filled to the point that we want. Once it has all set and hardened, it should be a little bit higher than what it originally was, and so we have to go back in and fair it out with the grinder. Here you can see that we're grinding it out, and once the grinding and fairing is complete, then we're ready to go on to the next phase of it. Now we start grinding all the pool surfaces. We use a 24 grit grinding disc that allows for any loose gel coats and loose glass to come off, and it also roughs the surface up for installation of our new fiberglass and resins, which will be installed. We do all the sides, the floors, we do all the way around the pool. And then once that's complete, then we come back and clean it up, and then we're ready to install the new fiberglass mats and resins. Installation of the fiberglass mat that goes onto the surface of the pool. All these pieces of mat have been pre-cut. They were all ripped so that all the edges are frayed, and that allows us to put in the mat and not leave any seams on it. First, we wet out underneath where the mat will go, and then lay the mat in place, and then come back and start wetting out the surfaces. Once the surface has been wet out, the binders that hold the fiberglass together will break down, and then we come back and roll it out with what's called a bubble roller. Once the mat has been put down, then it's rolled out with what's called a bubble roller. And what this does, it's a metal roller that allows us to remove the air bubbles that are in underneath the mats and the resins. And this keeps any blister areas from forming. We use a small roller because the surface of the pool is not flat, so it's much easier to get the bubbles out by using a small roller as opposed with a large one. Here you can see a section of the walls of the pool have been fiberglassed and rolled out. There are no visible seams showing, and it allows, when we have to sand, and not have to worry about trying to grind out the seam areas. We wet out and glass all the walls first, and that allows us to make sure that everything is set up there, and then we go on to the floor areas. Now we start laying on the fiberglass onto the floors. As you can see, the glass isn't very thick that we're walking on as it flexes. We do the deep end first, and then we slowly work our way out. As you can see, we've done the shallow areas now, which left the step area and the seat area. Now we start glassing on the steps. Now that the step and the seat areas have been done, as you can see here, we've got all the areas with the new fiberglass installed. Now that all the sanding and cleaning has been done on the surface of the new fiberglass, we start installing our new layers of Gelcote. These are rolled on. We use what is called an isophthalic white pool Gelcote. We will install 3 coats. This is the first coat that's going on now. All the sidewalls first. Once the sidewalls are completed, then we will move on to the seat area. Here you can see we're doing the seat area now. And then we do part of the steps. That allows us a way to get out of there once we gel coat the bottom of the pool in. Now you can see, we've had the first layer of Gelcotes put onto the pool. The second and third layers of gel coat have been applied to the pool. The pool repairs are now complete, and it looks pretty much like a new pool. We allow 4 to 5 days for gel coat to cure, and then after that's all cured, then water can go back into the pool, and it's ready for customers' enjoyment.